Mic check 1 2.
Oh.
Hello, check mic 1 2.
The band. Do you feel like the band?
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
Is that my boy?
It's time.
Mr. 239.
Boring.
Come on, you snorers! Do something!
What exactly is a big buddy?
On YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and just about everywhere. Presented by the Meisters. Mic Check Sports with David Wasson and Colin Warner is on the air.
Welcome to Mic Check Sports, presented by the Meisters. It's been forever since I've been on the air. And if you notice, I'm not alone anymore. That's right, Mic Check Sports, presented by the Meisters with David Wasson. And my big buddy is here, the one, the only Colin Warner, tagging around. He was our World Cup soccer expert, and now he's just like my sidekick, my second banana, if you will. C-Dub, great to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining the show.
My little buddy, it is good to be back. You know, we ran this ship close to a decade ago and had some fun, and here we are. The universe has put us back together.
The universe has put us back together, Colin. For those unaware, and I know the majority of the universe is unaware, Colin and I worked together at Sun Broadcasting for what was then a Fox Sports Radio in Southwest Florida. Colin was producing Miller and Moulton in the mornings, and was was like a jack of all trades running the station basically. And I was just a young, slightly skinnier sales rep. And Colin, well, slightly skinnier, you know, just slightly. You know, it's my show. I can use a little bit of poetic license there. And so Colin and I just started talking, and we were like, you know, we talk great. We should like do this together. So we started our own podcast back in the day called X's and O's Radio. It doesn't live anymore. I went looking for it just for like, just to like grab some sound, and I couldn't find any. So it doesn't live anymore. But we did that. And so you went your separate ways. I went my separate ways. Like, you know, that was like before COVID happened, for crying out loud.
Yeah, we're talking 2017, 18.
Yeah, it was like, I want to say it was like 18, 19, which is crazy.
Still probably the greatest podcast thumbnail ever made.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you can dig that up, we got to throw that up at some point.
I will get that up. I will get that up because it was great. I do have it, by the way. So I will get that up. Absolutely. We'll put that on the screen right now. But so again, Colin and I did this, and it was not really about sports. It was kind of sports adjacent in that we talked to our good friend Trella, who is still a trending expert. Or an expert in trending. She's a pop culture expert. So we did that. We talked to Dr. Amy, the famous chiropractor, of course, who did some work with Fox Sports Radio back in the day. And we just had ourselves a good old time. So when I started this podcast a couple, 3-4 months back, I thought to myself, well, you know, I love talking to myself. Did radio for a couple years on my own, basically. And I thought, well, as much as I love talking to myself and having the last word and basically being right on everything, I love it even more when I can talk to somebody. So I reached out to Colin, and here we are. So, and again, Colin was on the show a couple weeks ago as our World Cup soccer expert. As you can see, wearing Nashville SC colors. There we go. Thank you very much. Wearing the Nashville SC colors, a Liverpool hat, by the way. The dome is Liverpool. So, and of course, I'm in the Santurce Stone Crabs flannel from the Puerto Rican Summer League, about as obscure as it gets. So,
yeah, where did you find that?
Ebbets Field Flannels makes like vintage flannel baseball jerseys, and I originally got my first one from my sister Liz. It was a New York Knights jersey from the Natural. So because they made all their props back in the day. So I have a New York Knights one, and then I got a little bit addicted to them. And it was right during COVID, as a matter of fact. So I have like 8 of these things. So I'm going to wear them, all, throughout our show's tenure, just because I love them. And they're basically just like collecting dust in the closet. But
I have to ask you. Yeah, well, I mean, you make anything good looking, little buddy.
Thank you.
But I have to ask you. You were texting me pictures of different soccer jerseys from, national team jerseys from this past World Cup. Why the jersey fixation? Where did that come from? Because I know before you were just strictly golf shirts and khakis with pleats.
Yes,
so
I was yes, and the pleats, of course, to somehow try to flatter my midsection, but and because we had to wear pants at work. So, but Colin never did. Colin wore shorts. Because he was behind a console. Nobody ever looked at him. So I somehow fell in love, Big Buddy, with with some of the fashion sense of this year's World Cup. And so I end up getting the France green kit first, their road kit, which was like Statue of Liberty colored, because I love what they did on the patch with the copper. And the Nike swoosh was copper. I loved it. And then I thought, well, I can't just have the France one. I've got to have the U.S. Stars one, which I liked more than the Stripes one because the Stripes one's plain white on the back. So I got the U.S. Stars one, which I loved. And then my Adidas app fired up. And so I got the I got the Argentina home one. I got the Argentina road one. I got the Belgium kit. I end up getting the England road kit, the classic white one, which was
I did not see that one.
Indeed. And there's one other one that I got. I got the Brazil blue one.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you got the Japan kit.
I thought about getting the Japan white with the stripes.
Yeah, because
but it was sold out by the time I got to it.
Yeah, it's still sold out. I still don't think you can get.
They're all sold out now.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't get any of them unless you go on the counterfeit jersey market. Which, as you know, is like size. It's like size tricky, and for us gentlemen of stature, it's tricky to get the size right. So I didn't want to roll the dice and get a counterfeit jersey and have it be like I couldn't breathe in it. So so I spent way too much money.
I was gonna say
on all my authentics.
Yeah.
But of course I didn't get a Spain one like an idiot. So, I had 7, 2 with Argentina, and they made the finals. But, like, Spain wins, I didn't have any Spain gear at all. I wanted the white one, but, again, it was way sold out by the time I kind of got turned on to it. So,
yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah, speaking of Spain, though, how about that? I'm going to steal first it was a master class for the whole entire tournament, right? But
One goal allowed.
1 goal allowed in 8 games. Completely shut down Argentina to the point where they got so frustrated that one guy got a red card after the game, but to steal a line from Stanford Steve, he said they neutered teams, and exactly what they did. They neutered teams with an absolute masterclass of a World Cup. And I wouldn't want to be any other nation going into 2030 or 2034 or whatever it is. No way.
No, because I mean, 2 of their emerging players still teenagers right now, Lamine Yamal and help me out with the other name, but
Cerbello. I believe it's Cerbello. Yeah.
So they started a couple teenagers in this World Cup, and again, if you watched all of Spain's matches, they didn't exactly look great out of the jump, but at the same time, only allowing 1 goal the whole time, and got better as the tournament went on.
Well, so if you look back at this little trivia. And you go, well, that 2026 World Cup, who did Spain not beat? They didn't lose to anybody, but who did they not beat? Would you ever have a guess?
They did not beat Cape Verde, wasn't it?
Correct.
It was a 0-0 draw in the opener. Yeah, yes. Cape Verde, one of the surprises of the entire tournament. If I'd have given Colin like a whole day and all 48 teams to come up with his surprise team of the tournament, he would not have come up with Cape Verde.
No, I think you did in one of the preview episode. I think we did. You gave
and you
me
didn't
a surprise.
Say that.
No, I did not say Cape Verde. That's for sure.
So and listen, I'm not. My geography teacher in middle school actually told my father that I was rather dim because of my geography knowledge. But I've gotten a little bit brighter over the years, at least I think so. But I had no idea where Cape Verde was until a good friend of mine who's also a soccer nut. I texted her and I said, "It's like, where the hell is Cape Verde?" And she goes, "Hey, dummy, it's where all the hurricanes form off of Africa." I was like, "Oh yeah,
Okay.
that is
So-
where all the hurricanes form. Like the butterfly wings
Oh.
off of Cape Verde become hurricanes on the other side of the Atlantic."
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I had no idea. I was going to say maybe a little town outside of Cape Canaveral. I had no idea. I mean, I knew it
Yeah,
was African, but
yeah. Again, like I kind of have a base knowledge of my globe,
yeah.
but until she said that, and then of course I was like, okay, well, like on what part of the coast is it? And I was like, it's got to be up in the northern part of the coast.
Is that the
I
Horn?
didn't look on a
Isn't
map, but
the Horn of Africa or something like that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
think so.
you know,
So,
David, you brought up the
we might put
48
up a
teams.
map here in a second,
That's a good idea.
to show the people because it's a
Not
visual.
only do you entertain, you drop the knowledge.
Educate
and you
and
educate.
inform.
Yeah, educate and inform.
And entertain here.
I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says "This podcast educates and informs."
I learned something on Mike Check Sports. Yeah, that's what
but you know, you brought up the 48 teams, and I think there was a lot of hubbub about the 48 teams are gonna it's gonna water down the tournament. It absolutely did not, because look at Cape Verde, look at Cape Verde, look at Congo. Right, was it Congo? I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of?
DR Congo.
DR Congo
made it to the knockout phase.
Yeah, I mean that did. So you had all these great underdogs. You had upsets. Look at Paraguay upsetting Germany. I mean, Paraguay may have made it anyway, but the little guys. I mean, there were one or two guys that didn't really, handle it all that well or perform all that well. But man, hey, I'm all for the 48 team tournament moving forward. I don't think it should get any bigger.
I was just going to ask you that. The FIFA, of course, immediately after the final whistle, was starting to make noise about expanding this thing again to 64 teams. Is that too much?
It's too much. I mean, come on. CONCACAF is our region, North America, Central America, and Caribbean. Do we really need 6 CONCACAF teams? I mean, look, Haiti, they performed well. Panama, they held, okay, fine. They looked good. They did what they needed to do. Were they going to win the group? Were they going to advance? Maybe, but probably not. But I mean, if we're getting down to the likes of, look at Curacao was in the tournament. They did okay. They actually
Curacao was respectable.
Absolutely. They were all respectable, absolutely. But do we need to go any further with CONCACAF teams? And I'm a CONCACAF guy. They're thinking about expanding it. Why? Because in 30, it's going to be Morocco, Spain, Portugal, and then 1 or 2 games over in Uruguay and Argentina for the centennial celebration. So maybe, there's that many places to go. You can have more teams, but no, I think, I say it. Well, of course, if you would have asked me 4 years ago if 48 teams would have watered it down in the next tournament, I said absolutely yes. So maybe I'm wrong. The tournament is pretty much bulletproof, right? I mean,
it seems like it's the best thing going every 4 years in sports. And it's one of those things where 2 years from now, we'll be like, when is the World Cup again? Is that like in next year? Is it the year after? And even like the casual soccer fan, of which I am, you're not. I don't know how many I'm a CONCACAF guy shirts there are in the world. You probably have one of those. But I'm not a CONCACAF guy. I couldn't tell you who the nations in CONCACAF. But to me, it feels a bit like a cash grab, a bit like too far of an expansion, like the NCAA tournament going from 68 teams to 70 to 76 teams. You're adding 6 more teams or 8 more teams. You're watering it down. To go from 48 to 64 is huge. It also makes me wonder, Colin, how many countries out there can host a 64-team tournament for crying out loud? There are only a couple places in the world that have that many stadiums.
Yeah, have that many stadiums that can actually function as a World Cup stadium.
Right.
There's only one, and it was held here.
That's the United States. Yeah,
and it was here the past month.
Right.
I mean, but you say it's just a cash grab. No. FIFA doing something for money?
Not at the
No,
level of people at
that's unheard
FIFA.
of, little buddy. Come on, no, they're up and ups. They just want to promote the world game to everyone.
The beautiful game for everyone.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
hydration breaks were just for player safety. They definitely were not a commercial grab to insert to insert commercials into the billion people that are watching. That definitely wasn't the case.
no,
FIFA's
because
all about
you need a hydration break when you're playing in an air conditioned stadium because
right, like you're playing in
that's the
Jerry
one
World.
place.
Forget,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
ridiculous. These
Let's
guys are
just hope
world
that's
class
yeah.
athletes.
If there's another takeaway and the don'ts, don't bring those back. Don't ever bring those back.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. If and when the World Cup comes back to the United States, which is rumored to be in 2038, especially if it expands to 64 teams, even if you include Mexico and Canada, it's gonna be in domes. Just because there aren't that many natural grass stadiums in the NFL that could host that many teams.
Yeah.
So
Well, and too now the NFL's like, wait a minute, why are we not playing on grass? Why are all of our stadiums this artificial, granted it's high-end artificial grass or artificial turf, but is that just kind of a money grab from the NFL so they can bring in this artificial turf?
yeah,
And I don't say money grab, but just another revenue from, the NFL is making off these artificial turf companies. But why? I don't. It look. I now hold it up. Throughout a whole season of NFL might be different.
right.
But then again, you're only playing one. I mean, how many home games are in an NFL? Eight,
Eight,
eight or nine?
nine, yeah, nine
Yeah,
tops, right.
yeah. And I don't. I understand the winters, and it's harder to cultivate the grass and keep it in tip top shape. But there are fields that do it.
There are fields that do it.
Lambeau.
Now, FIFA going to 64 teams theoretically in future World Cups. I think even Italy might then make it. Italy didn't make it again in this World Cup cycle. And,
3 years in a row, 3 World Cups in a row.
A soccer-rich nation
Yeah.
again embarrassed before it even starts. It's got to be tough for Italian fans right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like I know how heartbroken and disappointed I was when the U.S. didn't make the 2018 World Cup in Russia. I can't imagine being Italian fans and how broken that system must be because a lot of people talk about the U.S. youth system being broken and pay for play, but imagine being an Italian fan. I mean, they just came off. They won the Euros not too long ago. They won the 2006 World Cup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have stars on their kits
They have stars on their kits for a reason, but that could all change soon because rumor has it that they're looking at Pep Guardiola as their next head coach. Now, Pep, if they can shell out the money, Pep's going to want full control of the entire system, which may be a good thing for Italy because I'm shocked. I mean, you know who kicked them out of this World Cup? Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Crazy. And again, Bosnia didn't play awful in the World Cup, so
they made it to the round of 32 against the U.S.
So it's one of those things. All right, so what other takeaways should we take away from this World Cup? A tremendous success by all measures here in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. What are the other takeaways that you have, Big Buddy, from this World Cup?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway, two big takeaways. The biggest one is the people that came here. I think you saw for an entire month that for the most part, politics not involved. Everyone was happy. Everyone was joyful. Everyone was just happy to be here, showing their colors, filling out the cities, enjoying what America and all of those cities have to offer, whether it's ranch dressing or the Scotch drinking Boston Dry. It's
so
just
great.
And the greatest thing too, David, is there was like before the tournament, you had the hotel prices are going to be crazy. There was gouging. Yeah, it's FIFA. What are you going to do? But people were like, well, we don't know if we want to be there, and we don't know, America, blah blah blah. None of that happened. That was all just clickbait. That was all just social media trying to create a narrative that wasn't there. And then they realized how great. A lot of people realized how great this country really is, and if we're not all bad people, or we don't want to kick everyone out. We want everyone to get here, everyone to come and enjoy the country. I think that is that was the most joyful thing, I think, about the tournament, was just people having fun. And social media helped in that aspect as well, because you had all of the people from all over the world on their social media and, showing pictures. And you had, what's the Freddie from Germany? Whether or not he was a real person, I'm not so sure about that. But anyway, he's traveling all over the continental United States, going to Waffle House and Buc-ee's. And, I think that's the big thing. And that's what will, I believe, get it back here in 38. Because I'm not totally positive, but it doesn't have to be a regional thing. So I don't think Canada and Mexico would be even allowed to host for some reason, because that's more of a CONCACAF thing.
Right.
I think it just goes to the U.S. And if FIFA, FIFA's, they see that money. They see the 6.8 million people that went through those turnstiles for a month-long tournament, and that money. And again, unfortunately, I think we were talking, the hydration breaks. Unfortunately, when the media rights deal is up very soon, that's going to be on the table. Because how much money did Fox make? And again, that's okay with me. We
won't talk about that. But yeah, no. that is good for you. But you're right. This media deal is going to come up, and a couple of the suitors, Amazon and Netflix, you could see this thing go streaming off network television here in this next cycle.
Yeah, I think it might be like an NFL thing, where you might have games on net. You might have first round games, especially if it expands. Like you said, you might have first round games on Netflix and the streamers. Then you might have the round of 32 on ESPN, or another round on Fox. It might be all over the place. It might not just be one company, because they're looking at billions of dollars for the media rights for that. Now, someone will pony up for it, but again, for American broadcast companies, it's not going to be that easy, because you have to go over to 5 different places, technically. Really? 5 different places? 5 different countries? You have to set up, you'll set up your main broadcast probably in Spain, or your main broadcast hub in Spain, but you have to have people in Portugal. You have to have Morocco and Argentina. Here, I guess you could say it was kind of the same, Mexico, Canada, but much more cost effective to have it in America. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who kind of shows FIFA the money, I guess.
Now, did you watch any games on Telemundo, or did you restrict yourself to American broadcast and then watch highlights on Telemundo?
I didn't watch anything on Telemundo, unfortunately. I watched the majority of games on the Fox One app, and that's because I got it in 4K. I'm a YouTube TV subscriber, and I don't pay for the 4K.
You cut the cord, baby.
Oh yeah, we cut the cord when we left Florida, so that was a long time ago. I think even before we left Florida. But no, I heard a lot. People say that Telemundo was fantastic. You don't even need to know Spanish, and it sounds like a great time.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like a party, no matter what. And again, watching, because I watched a couple games on Telemundo just for the experience, and I caught myself being able to look the other way and do stuff, because the cadence of the game ramps up, I think, better in Spanish than it does in the English language, to where I could tell something was about to happen better on the Spanish side, even though I don't know a lick of Spanish. But I could tell what was about to happen, and turn my attention to the screen, and then watch it happen, and watch the drawn out goal celebration. So very cool indeed. The U.S. not playing great though in the World Cup. I know you knew I was going to bring it up.
I know.
Well, now
let me do one more quick
another takeaway.
Just a quick one.
Okay.
Offsides rules needs to change. I know you're going to put microchips in the balls, and you have, it looks like the tennis matches where you can see if side out or whatever. That needs to change. What I've heard is I think an MLS might experiment with this, because I know they've experimented in like MLS Pro, so like the divisions lower, that the the part of the body that can be offsides is the goal scoring section. So like a leg or a foot or a head. No, you can't have four fingers,
like a
shoulder or four fingers be offsides. So that's just what I hope that changes, because the technology is great. I love the referee cams. VAR worked pretty well for the most part, even for the U.S. I guess it kind of worked. But yeah, the offsides, we got to figure that out, because that's just too ticky-tack. You can't have goals being disallowed, that could change a game by just having like fingernails.
Yeah, and we saw a goal get disallowed by a lock of hair off the ball.
Yeah,
a ball like flipped off some luscious locks of European hair, and the ball caught the flick through the microchip.
Yeah.
That seemed a little wonky to me, but.
All right.
Again, at this point, we're picking at things. Now, speaking of picking at things, I'm going to pick at the scab. I tried to do it, and you cut me off.
Yeah, let's do it.
The U.S. Listen, President Trump leans on FIFA and gets Balogun back. But then the U.S. absolutely falls on its face against Belgium. Big Buddy, your thoughts?
To go from the high of Paraguay 4-1, winning the group, thinking, wow, this is going to be something. Can we make a run? Can we make a little bit of a run? To 180, right back to where we're always at, and actually worse, because we put up a better showing against Belgium in 2014, and historically a better Belgium team in 2014. Put up a better fight against a very, very good Dutch team at the last World Cup. It's just sad. That's all I can tell my friends. It's my coworkers are like, oh, "How you doing?" I'm like, "It's just sad." Like, that performance was absolutely sad. Like, it looked like some of those guys. And granted, they're professional soccer players, so they're way above anything I can have ever accomplished in my life on the pitch. But that was it looks like they didn't know what they were doing. Serginho Dest, he's kind of been known not to track back and kind of be a aloof defender, not tracking back, letting the ball bounce in the box for one goal. It's just. We're right back to square one, right back to the same talking points we always have after a World Cup, after a knockout in the round of 16. It is youth soccer. How are you going to change youth soccer? Pay for play is not working. Blah, 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 blah.
This was supposed to be the golden generation. This was the team. This was what had all been built towards. And yes, U.S. Soccer took the detour, getting rid of Greg Berhalter, bringing in Pochettino, thinking that, and again, that looked like it had paid dividends. That looked like that speed bump was behind the U.S. And then to go out and just lay an absolute egg against Belgium, nothing went right in that game. From the very start, Christian Pulisic, a complete non-factor, subbed him out. It turned out he had a small stress fracture in his leg. But at the same time,
Crimea River.
He could have been at full steam, and I don't think it would have made a difference.
No, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have made a difference. And in all respect to Belgium, they knew their game plan. They knew what they were going to do. They didn't start a couple of the best players in the world, or have been the best players in the world, and Kevin De Bruyne. And the left back, or the left striker there, I forgot his name, but De Kuyper or something. But anyway, they didn't start two of their main guys because they wanted to match up athletically, and they absolutely did. So all credit to Belgium. Balogun came out after and said, "Hey, I appreciate being able to play," but he did say, he thinks that may have kind of changed things for the team a little bit, and that may have been a distraction. Now, granted, if he didn't play and Ricardo Pepi would have started, would have been any different? I doubt it. I don't know for sure. Maybe. But yeah, again, back to square one. We don't even know if Pochettino is going to come back. I guess next week he's going to announce whether he's staying, and he said, we'll talk about it, or I'll let you know. To me, that's like, you're gone. I mean, if you're talking to the team and you know you're going to come back, you just come back. You don't wait a week to, blah, blah, blah. So who's up next? Not really sure. But yeah, that was disappointing. That's the most, because again, like I said in the beginning here, to being so happy and so this is unbelievable, to being completely so devastated, that was pretty tough to take.
Yeah, you didn't text me back for a couple days, by the way, because I texted you a little bit after that match, and you went radio silent on me. So I knew that you were taking it hard.
I went Jameson silent. Jameson Irish whiskey silent.
I went
sponsor.
I got into the sauce.
There's really not much else to say. I'm just glad they made it out of the group stage and played well. I'm glad they gave us.
Glad the self-destruction didn't. Yeah, glad the self-destruction didn't happen before then.
And I'm glad they gave us the joy they did, because look what it did. It did galvanize the country. I mean, you saw the watch parties, you saw everything going on in this country and how important it was to everyone, and people are getting on board. People who didn't watch soccer were loving it. Flip that to, well, now everyone's watching and you completely lay an egg. That could be pretty dangerous. That could be, it might be tough to overcome that. It probably won't, because again, like you said, you're a passive soccer and you don't even know all of a sudden football season and it's in the ether and you're soccer, then football season, football,
American football
with two O's comes around and soccer goes. A lot of people are like, well, maybe I'll watch Erling Haaland over at Man City. When does the EPL on? Oh yeah, well, I'll check it out. And then football starts again. Soccer kind of takes a back seat, and then it goes away for most people for another 4 years, or maybe next year when the Women's World Cup rolls around. But there are a lot.
We always have the women here.
We always have the women.
We always have the women. Yeah. They never lay the egg that the men do. We can rely on the women.
Absolutely. But then, there are a lot of things to look forward to. 2028, you have the Olympics, which a lot of young guys are going to be coming up, because a lot of the U.S. men's national team, man, they're, for the next World Cup, the Pulisics and the Jedis, they'll be in their early 30s. So we're going to have some guys coming up here soon that are probably going to be getting a look in the next cycle or the next open window, which is like September, October. A lot of guys that are playing in the MLS, young kids. You have the Olympics, you have the Copa America, I believe in 28. You have Nations League. You have, so
Look
there's some.
You've got it all mapped out.
Well, that's the first thing I did. Like, okay, so how long do I have to wait before any real games? Actually, you don't have to wait long, because I think there's Nations League qualifying in November, so that's meaningful. And of course, now that we're not a host nation, we get qualifying. World Cup which is always fun. The only problem is, if you go to a 60,000 team tournament, the qualifying doesn't really matter. Like, U.S. probably won't play the Mexicos, the Costa Ricas at Costa Rica. Like that old hex where you got to a point in qualifying where you were going to Mexico, you were going to Costa Rica, you were going to Jamaica. That's probably not going to happen anymore. So qualifying is going to be kind of watered down a little bit as it is, but a lot of good things to look forward to. Watch the MLS. There's a lot of young, up-and-coming guys in the MLS. I think news dropped today that Seb Berhalter is going to sign with English Championship side. So there's the EPL, and then I guess you'd say the first division or second division is the English Championship. Looks like he's going to sign with Middlesbrough. I believe it's Middlesbrough, because watching some MLS games yesterday, we had Wednesday games. He did not play for Vancouver, and the announcer said, well, he's not playing, he's not hurt, they're not resting, they're talking about his future. And apparently talking about his future is headed over to Middlesbrough.
That means he's getting purchased. I want to ask Colin a little later on the show about his about how the MLS can take advantage of the World Cup. I also want to get Colin's take. He texted me about how he just finished one of the best shows he's ever seen. And so I want to get his take on that. But when we come back here on Mike Check Sports, my conversation with new FGCU Athletic Director Brian Barrio, the fourth FGCU AD in school history. We'll have that for you and more right after this on Mike Check Sports.
Moonshine, a modern spirit for today. All natural ingredients in citrus, tropical, and berry. Go to moonshine.com for more info.
I can't believe you guys are getting married and buying your first house.
We've been married 22 years and we know there's certain decisions that don't come easy.
Making a turn.
Now can we stop for directions?
Down for safety, sweetie.
What should we have for dinner tonight?
I don't care, honey. What do you like?
Pizza?
No.
But the easiest decision you guys will make is putting Cortec in your new home.
The Floor Meisters.
Just keeping it real.
Since 2006, Liquid Clicks has been the technical partner for Southwest Florida small businesses. Get a professional website for just $149 a month. Real peace of mind from a local neighbor. Visit liquidclicks.com.
Hi there, Becca Wasson here. You may remember me from Becca's Best Bets. Anyway, my dad's new podcast is called Mike Check Sports, and he wants you to be a partner. Go to MikeCheckSports.com now and click the Partner with Us tab at the top. Fill it out, and my dad will get back to you in a hurry. Mike Check Sports drops every Friday on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. Thanks.
Welcome back to Mike Check Sports, presented by the Floor Meisters. David Wasson back from a brief hiatus. A good summer of soccer was had, and while I was gone, FGCU went and hired themselves a new director of athletics, and he joined us today on the podcast, the one, the only Brian Barrio. Brian, the walls look bare. You've barely moved into the office, but we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'll be filling those up soon, but
I know you talked. I know you talked Monday about how you want to fill those up with championship photos, with trophy photos, with you like on the side as coaches are draped with nets and hardware. That is the.
I stay out of the picture.
What's that?
I stay out of the picture. I like to help them get the championship, but I'll stay out of the pictures. I'll just put the pictures of them up.
Put the pictures of them up. Now, I got to ask you about the helmets behind you. Do I see a USC Trojans helmet? And then what? Do I see a BC helmet? Tell me about the hardware behind you. Oh, I see more than that. Tell me what's going on.
I've, that's my little collection of football helmets. I know we don't have football here, but I left a lot of blood, sweat, and tears at all these places. So I thought the least I could take with me was a helmet.
There you go. I'm sure the athletic or the equipment guys at those places aren't like looking around going, "Hey, did that Barrio guy make off with a helmet?"
No. That was they were happy to give those up for in exchange for the service they got from me. So
there you go.
We're all good.
Brian, I know that I know that your trip to FGCU has been kind of a winding one. What attracted you to Southwest Florida, to FGCU, as you were kind of looking about the college athletics landscape, looking for your next opportunity? What attracted you to FGCU here?
Yeah, it's uniquely, I think, well positioned in the current landscape. I mean, so first of all, there's the personal thing, which is, my folks live in Venice down here. So I spend time down here. I like the area. We've always wanted to come down. My family's always wanted to come down here to Florida. So this is a great opportunity for us personally. Professionally, and in terms of the athletic department, I think FGCU is really positioned nicely for this era of college athletics. And one of the things I talked to the president about was a lot of places that I've looked at and places I've been have had, you're looking at the helmets, they've had football programs, and at USC or BC that comes with, tens of millions of dollars in media revenue. At Nevada and Central Connecticut, it doesn't. And, that financial piece with football, I love football. I'm sure you love football. I can see the Commanders thing behind you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We all love football. Football outside of the top, 30 or 40 programs in the country is a really tough financial nut to crack. And I don't think folks really know that. They assume that football comes with net profit, and it just does not. And it makes it really hard especially the FCS level, so to even balance your budget, let alone be coming out ahead financially. So the fact that FGCU has really competitive basketball programs, really competitive Olympic sport programs, baseball, softball, volleyball, that's fantastic. And I don't have to manage the financial piece of football or non-FBS football. And so that first of all, it's really attractive. I think the sport offerings, the sport sponsorship mix here is really nicely set up to be mean and lean, and we can compete for championships in every single sport. There's not a legacy of sports that aren't, that you can't compete in this geographic region or this conference. Every single sport, I think realistically, we can win championships. And, one of the things I think about, in terms of my background, years ago I was at Pepperdine University, and that was one of kind of the formative places in my career. And I look at Pepperdine, I just saw the other day, they won the Learfield Cup for 1 AAA programs, which is programs without football in Division I. And I look at Pepperdine and I look at FGCU. The history is a little different, but I think we could do something like that. And I know that's a high bar to set on my third day, but I'm about to meet with all the coaches in a minute and talk about this with them. Like, I don't see a reason structurally why we can't compete for that trophy and why we can't be on the same page with Pepperdine.
The waves of the East is a nice sound. Obviously, the sunset's similar, not quite on the cliffs of the Pacific Ocean, but still, we get pretty good sunsets here. I love the analogy. I've heard analogies of the past, Brian, about how FGCU is kind of primed to kind of be that Gonzaga of sorts.
The worst thing that ever happened to all of us in 1 AAA sports is Gonzaga becoming what they became, because now every single president, every single athletic director, every single donor in the country thinks they can be the next Gonzaga. And I think what folks, they were so uniquely set up to do what they did. They've got it, believe it or not, I mean, you might know, and I know they've got a history with John Stockton and going back to they're in a real college town. Spokane's not the kind of place where there's a ton, I mean, no offense to Spokane, but there's no beaches in Spokane. There's no pro teams in Spokane. So they have like this really unique setup where they've got a local fan base. They've got historical, they've got the historical thing going, and they caught lightning in a bottle. And I don't know that anybody can do in men's basketball what Gonzaga did. I really don't. And in fact, you've seen there's a lot of places doing the reverse Gonzaga. Georgetown, who, FGCU's got a nice history with. My son, who was at the press conference yesterday or 2 days ago, is 15. And if I told him that Georgetown used to be a national power in basketball, that would be like telling him dinosaurs walked the earth. Like, it's so ancient to him. So like, there's more places that used to be Gonzaga than that are becoming Gonzaga today. But I think, from a broad-based sport perspective, I just don't see any reason we can't win championships. And again, there's always obstacles. There's things we're going to have to fix and solve and get better at. But I don't see structural things preventing us from doing the kind of things they've done out west. And I'd love to see us do that.
Yeah, I wasn't putting the words in Brian Barrio's mouth about being the Gonzaga of the East. I've heard that.
Can we aggregate that? We'll get that out there.
Yeah.
Barrio,
I'll make sure I
Gonzaga.
clip that and make sure I clip your voice too. No, but I think Pepperdine is a great example of that. I've known a couple of coaches who made stops at Pepperdine along the way, and they've all talked about how unique it was and how cool it was and just the whole deal. And there are a lot of parallels between that and FGCU. We visit with Brian Barrio, the new director of athletics at FGCU. Like he said, just a couple days old. Does the key still, do your keys work, or are you still having people let you in? How new are we talking here?
I just spent an hour talking about dental plans, so that's good. That's kind of where we're at right now. But no, I've jumped right in and had great, I've already started to have great one-on-one meetings with coaches and senior administrators here, and you can feel the excitement. I mentioned that the other day at my press conference. It's there's a great pride and a great excitement in what we're doing here, and I think, like I said, I think we can do great things.
I would be remiss if I didn't cue you up to say kind of the same thing in your press conference here with us, is that you were half expecting, as you gave your phone number out to coaches when you took the job before you got on campus, to kind of get the, oh my gosh, this is on fire, I need it saved. And yet you said you didn't get all those messages. And it was really a testament to how it had been left by Colin Hargis, the former AD, and how Lauren Leister, the interim AD, had really kind of not only kept the trains on time, but also moved it along even in her interim status. If you would speak to that.
Yeah, you're exactly right to mention both of them. And and the foundation laid before that by Ken Kavanaugh and all the people here, and like they've done a really great job. And it's not nobody left town with a posse behind them. It's a good situation, and Lauren certainly did a wonderful job. And I think that interim role is so challenging, as you can imagine, trying to be kind of betwixt and between being the full-time athletic director and being a deputy, and you don't necessarily know what the boundaries of your authority are and all that stuff. And she just took it and ran with it and did a great job. So that certainly put me in a better position and the department in a better position today.
As you said, obstacles persist, and they do across collegiate athletics, Brian. You know this even more directly than I do as somebody who covers this and really kind of watches it closely here. And as you call them realities, obstacles, opportunities as well. One of them being the financial piece. I joked with you on Monday, are you going to be holding people upside down by their ankles trying to shake money out of them as part of your gig? And you said it's a little more nuanced than that. But at the same time, being able to revenue share competitively in the ASUN and with other programs, FGCU side, even nationally, I think is a challenge, an opportunity, is an obstacle, you could say, to the programs within the Eagles program really being successful. Speak on that.
Yeah, it's a challenge for everybody. It's new for everybody, even though it's a couple of years old now. I think what we have as an advantage, a couple of things. One, Southwest Florida and Florida in general are growing. People are moving here. The system's healthy. There's not I think up north you're dealing with states that are losing people, certainly losing high school age people that are going to become your college students. Enrollment's challenged. So you're seeing like private schools, even in Division I, that probably truthfully are on the verge of either merging or going out of business. And you've got state schools that are having 3 and 5 and 6% enrollment drops, which is a real financial crisis for places. And whatever challenges we have within the athletic department here, the athletic department's a small slice of the overall finances of the university. And the great thing is that larger pie is in good shape here. They've had fiscal responsibility, they've got enrollment growth or managed enrollment. So we're not in an environment where they're cutting and trying to, stave off disaster. They're trying to manage explosive growth, really. So in the macro sense, that puts us in a really good spot. We still have to figure out the details of where the money comes from. Obviously it's about priorities within, funding priorities within the department. But we've got a state that's healthy, a system that's healthy, a president who's supportive, and we've got friends of the university here in the area. Both, we don't have the alums because the school's a young school, but we do have a lot of wealthy and interested people in the area that I think can really help us and that we can offer a great investment to. I don't like, the analogy of shaking people upside down for money. I know you're joking, but I really don't like to think of it as, we're looking for charity or it's not like we're raising money for Habitat for Humanity. I consider it like an investment in the impact that the university has in the area, an investment in the lives of these young people. And that's a whole different ball of wax to me. I feel a lot better going out there and trying to show people in the community where we intersect with their passions than I do just asking them for money.
And as we talked about a little bit about on Monday, and I have a piece coming up next Friday in the Naples Press, and we visit with Brian Barrio, FGCU athletic director. So much of fiscal responsibility kind of, I don't want to say grinds against the gears of revenue sharing with athletes, but at the same time, that has to be funded to the max available and try to make yourselves as competitive as possible, because and you made the allusion to it when we spoke, and I think you said it from the podium too. You can almost predict what how standings are going to be in the ASUN based on how revenue share probably is within those sports and within those schools. How much of a reality is the fact that programs, let's just take a men's basketball program at FGCU in the ASUN, has to deal with the harsh realities of players leaving for literally greener pastures?
Yeah, that is just the world we're living in now. And I'm before I was an athletic director and an administrator, I was the biggest college basketball fan and basketball fan in general. And so as a fan, as an administrator, as anything, do I love where we are with that? No. But, do I think it's good for the overall health of the game? No. But we can either cry about it or we can live in the world that we're in. And I think we got to do the latter. And like I said on the podium the other day, I think it presents FGCU with some really unique opportunities. And that's the way we have to look at it. So on the one hand, yeah, you do need the revenue share to be competitive in the league. And on the other hand, I think we've got every chance in the world to do that. And part of it is, and I'm glad that I'm here with you, it's educating our fans, educating the supporters, educating folks on campus about why that's another area that's worth investing in. It's not a money pit that we're throwing money into and it doesn't do anything for us. Like, to me, the bigger equation probably is, what is the benefit of, being in Division I? And I think if you really get down to brass tacks, it's the visibility that being in Division I gives you those weeks when you make the NCAA tournament and FGCU is on every computer screen in the country while people are pretending to work in their office, but they're really filling out their bracket. We want FGCU to be on that bracket, right? Because that's marketing, that's visibility for the school that you can't purchase. Like the marketing money you'd have to spend to do that is astronomical. And when you talk about the revenue share spend in like, let's say men's basketball specifically, like sure, it seems like a lot of money in a vacuum, but when you really think about it that way, if that's the investment you need to make to get to the NCAA tournament and buy the university tens of millions of dollars worth of publicity, okay, if we make the tournament once every 7 years, 5 years, whatever that is, what is it worth to us? And I think that's an equation that makes a lot more sense to people who deal in data. So I like to think about it that way. Like, we're making an investment in that opportunity to appear in the tournament and get ourselves on people's screens. And that applies to other sports as well. Like, I think there's a lot more visibility today in the women's volleyball tournament, in the women's basketball tournament, in the softball tournament, in the College World Series. So all of those things have value, and we're investing in them.
Brian Barrio, our guest, and Brian, it harkens back to something that got told to me a long time ago. Athletics is the front door to the rest of the world to show the university off, and it certainly is the case in what you're talking about. You also mentioned on the podium Monday, and I wanted to ask you about it directly. Student involvement, and it's been a tricky thing for FGCU in the past to really kind of wrap their hands around students. A lot of them live off campus. As you know, you're fighting for eyeballs with everybody's iPhone and all the other entertainment that's around here.
And the beach.
And the beach, exactly. and everything else. How much of an opportunity is out there for FGCU athletics to really kind of reach out to the students either on campus or just off campus and say, guys, come and see what we're all about. Have fun here. Embrace this as part of your university experience.
It's huge. It's an opportunity, and frankly, it's an obligation. Across the country, that's a challenge right now, trying to connect with students because like you said, they've got a lot of, like, when I was in college 30 years ago, we had one payphone at the end of the hall, and we didn't have cable. The internet didn't exist, and it was a lot easier. Like, when you said there's a basketball game, I'm just going to be there because there's nothing else to do. Right. But now they have their Xbox and their phone and all these other things. So, I've got 3 teenagers in my house. I know what we're competing against. But I do think that is part of the value that athletics brings to a university like this. It's not just that visibility piece. That's one. It's providing a great experience to our athletes. That's two. But it's also providing a physical gathering space on campus for our alumni, for the people in the community, but most importantly for our students. And so we've got to get out there, and I said it the other day, and meet them where they are. So, I gave the example of other places I've been. We've done things like, partnering with fine arts on campus on an arts and athletics night. And, we had the folks who were going to be in the upcoming production of, I hope I get my Shakespeare right here. They were going to be in their upcoming production of Troilus and Cressida. They came and did the.
What an obscure reference, by the way.
It's one of Shakespeare's lesser works, and I'm still right there. But we had them come do the sword fight from the play at halftime of the basketball game, and we did like arts and athletics T-shirts, and
nice.
So that was a night where all the art students on campus came to the game, which they wouldn't normally have done. And my hope is, hey, they're going to come that night and it's going to be awesome. And then hopefully 10% of them think that was really fun, I'm coming back. And another night we did something with the engineering department where they had a robotics competition at halftime, and all the engineering students and faculty came. And again, if we get 10% of them to come back. So, and it's Greek life and it's clubs and it's, and it's going to look different at FGCU because obviously some of those things we don't have. So we're going to figure out how we partner with different groups on campus to really make them feel like we're helping to promote their stuff. They're coming to join us and we're together on campus. And that's the stuff that works. And it takes a proactive effort. Like 30 years ago, you could roll the ball out and had a basketball game and kids would show up because there was nothing else to do. It's not like that anymore. And that's okay. And we'll have plans to deal with that.
2 more questions for Brian Barrio as we have him, the new athletic director at FGCU, right here on Mike Check Sports. And we appreciate, again, your time. You mentioned earlier in this discussion, you mentioned it on Monday too, that you are now a member of the president's cabinet at FGCU, something that that wasn't in existence, or the athletics didn't have a seat at that table before now. How important, how vital is it, in your opinion, that FGCU embraces and aligns with athletics and has your voice, your presence, athletics presence at the table, at the larger table, as far as how FGCU grows in the future?
Yeah, it's huge. And I think it's big symbolically just because it shows that athletics has a seat at the table, literally. But it also, it gives us an opportunity to share information about what's going on in athletics so that folks on campus know that we're cognizant of our responsibility to be part of the university. And on the other end, we know what's going on campus so we can make sure we're being great partners. And it helps us. I think you're just more likely as a human being to want to support someone in a unit that's in the room and that you know about than one that's operating like a silo and is on the other side of campus. And traditionally, the stereotype traditionally with athletics is that, they're over there and they're the jocks and they're doing their own thing. And that model doesn't work anymore. It certainly doesn't work at a school like this, at a smaller school where we really have to be part of the university and pushing the university's mission forward in addition to what we're doing in athletics, or as part of what we're doing in athletics. It's funny because most of the faculty at places like this usually, they got their PhD at a big state university. They went to Penn State or they went to Florida, and so they have this idea in their head of what athletics is, and it's very different at a place like this. And I think it's different in a way that's very friendly to faculty and staff and people on campus, and it's incumbent on us to tell that story.
Brian Barrio, our guest. I said I had one question. I really have 2. Have you mastered the wings up yet? I when I worked at FGCU, would always go backwards with it until about 6 months in. Somebody was like, "You got to turn it around, idiot. It's this way." Have you mastered the wings up thing yet?
I did learn it, and
greeting.
Yeah, I do. I feel more comfortable this way too.
Yeah, so it's like the hang 10 thing. Yeah.
The wrist rotation, very important. No, I love it though. I think it's great, and I also love the idea of. I love that they call it the nest because I think that's such a great symbol for what college is for 17, 18-year-olds when they come here. We got to teach them how to fly, and that's what we're going to do in athletics too.
And my last question, have you gotten used to the heat yet? You're not a primarily Northeast guy. You've been around the country, but you've been in the Northeast a lot. This is our son turned varsity a long time ago. Have you gotten used to the heat yet down here?
Yeah, we definitely have, if it's not varsity, it's at least JV son in Baltimore. It's pretty hot in the summer, hotter than I'm used to up in New England. But no, I'll never get used to it. I don't, the humidity is a little tough, but ask me again in January and my answer will be a lot more friendly about it. I'll be really happy.
I was going to say, yeah, in January, it's really nice. And by the way, that's when twice as many people are in town as they are right now. So get used to going out to the nice restaurants, get used to the wide open roads while you can, because in January, you'll be like, wow, where did all these people come from? This is crazy.
Hey, I've had the good and the bad everywhere. And I'm pretty comfortable with all of it. I think I don't know if I said it to you or somebody else the other day, I'm after being at Pepperdine and now FGCU, I'm going to get my PhD in ignoring great scenery and trying to do work. So we'll get there.
Brian Barrio will be the guy, head down at his desk at Alico Arena in his office, 90 hours a week, grinding away on intercollegiate athletics, the new AD at FGCU. Brian, it was a pleasure to meet you on Monday. I appreciate you joining us here today for the show. I look forward to more conversations with you as time goes on, as you continue to grow and help FGCU, more importantly, help FGCU grow into the national power that it can be. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Anytime you want me, I'll be back.
There you go. We'll be right back with more right here on Mike Check Sports.
I can't believe you guys are getting married and buying your first house.
We've been married 22 years, and we know there's certain decisions that don't come easy.
Making a turn. Now can we stop for directions?
Down for safety, sweetie.
What should we have for dinner tonight?
I don't care, honey. What do you like?
Pizza?
No.
But the easiest decision you guys will make is putting Cortec in your new home.
The Floor Meisters.
Just keeping it real.
Since 2006, Liquid Clicks has been the technical partner for Southwest Florida small businesses. Get a professional website for just $149 a month. Real peace of mind from a local neighbor. Visit liquidclicks.com.
Moonshine, a modern spirit for today. All natural ingredients in citrus, tropical, and berry. Go to moonshine.com for more info.
Hi there, Becca Wasson here. You may remember me from Becca's Best Bets. Anyway, my dad's new podcast is called Mike Check Sports, and he wants you to be a partner. Go to MikeCheckSports.com now and click the Partner with Us tab at the top. Fill it out, and my dad will get back to you in a hurry. Mike Check Sports drops every Friday on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. Thanks.
Welcome back to Mike Check Sports, presented by the Floor Meisters. Great talk just a bit ago with Brian Barrio, the FGCU Athletic Director, 4th AD in school history, the 3rd in the last 2 years and change. So great to talk to Brian Barrio. We hope to have him back again here on the show. My big buddy Colin Warner joins me back here again on my right on the screen, which is cool. On my left as we record it, so it's kind of flipped around once we did it. But anyway, my big buddy, no, it's the other way. No, we you can.
No, we need I've had people do this.
Yeah, it's like this. There we go.
We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll by the 70th episode, you'll get that one.
Yeah, we'll get it right eventually. It's all a work in progress. Colin and I spoke at length earlier in the show about the World Cup and about how great it was here in the United States. An unqualified success, really, across the board. The rest of the world really experiencing everything that is great about the U.S., including ranch dressing, including Sam Adams lagers. Scotland drank Boston out of beer, which is hard to do. But the Scottsdale, by the way, came down here for a game in Miami and absolutely took over Miami, too. So it was great to see across the board. Kansas, embraced Japan and their team. So across the board, really, a great World Cup. Now, my question to you, big buddy, is this. Did the MLS position itself correctly, in your opinion, to take advantage of the World Cup here on native soil? Or do you think it was a lost opportunity for the MLS to really kind of wrap their arms around the soccer love that was in the United States for a month and change and try to take it and try to carry it over into MLS play?
Yeah, right now I kind of feel like they missed the boat a little bit. You know, the whole marketing strategy was, after, as the World Cup ended, they had games on that Wednesday. So between the quarterfinals and then the final, they had games on Wednesday and games on that Friday before the final. And their marketing strategy was, thanks world, we'll take it from here, that's a great marketing strategy. Last night, and then Friday, I'll back up. Last Friday's games were on Big Fox. So they had a doubleheader on Big Fox, which Nashville was one of those games. So they put the MLS on the board in between, the final and the last couple games of the World Cup. But I didn't feel like maybe I just missed it, but I felt like I didn't see a lot of MLS, sponsorship or ads during the entire month-long tournament. Now, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe FIFA, had a say in that. Like, no, you can't promote the league during this, blah, 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 or MLS didn't even want to pay for it. But again, Fox does have a little bit of skin in the game because they do show 1 or 2 games a week. All the other games are on Apple Plus. But I feel like, I hope to see it more. Like, we should be having sponsorship or ads maybe running with, hey, this player played in the World Cup. Song from South Korea. He plays for LAFC. You could say, well, Seb Berhalter, who played for Vancouver, it doesn't look like he's playing there for much longer. He got guys at Vancouver. You have guys obviously in Miami. So there are some kind of rollovers or guys that were playing in the World Cup that play in the MLS. Again, I hope they didn't miss the boat, but something tells me they didn't grab it by the reins and we're like, hey, if you are still into soccer, here, come watch it, and here it is on Fox. Right. And I know the problem is it's behind a paywall. Like, that's a big thing for people. Like, but again, I think this year, if you subscribe to Apple Plus, you no longer have to pay for the MLS package.
Right.
Like the previous couple seasons, it was like $75. Now it's included in Apple Plus. But I don't know. I was hoping to see a little more. Whether that's by crooks of of FIFA, I'm not really sure, or MLS in general. But hopefully they can kind of get a little bit of a kick from it. I don't see it, but maybe.
Yeah, between Fox not dropping in a promo every now and then for MLS coverage, and again, it's not like Apple's exactly cash poor. They could have bought some ads for the MLS package on Apple Plus,
right,
or on Apple TV. So again, Apple has a couple shekels laying around for some of that advertising to try to get some of those eyeballs back. I'm with you. I didn't see a single one. It's a little bit.
There has to be a reason. There has to be some sort of financial issue or reason, or because we have Messi. I didn't even see a promo of Messi. Like, so there. I guess if I did a little research on it, I guess I could find my answer on why that may be the issue. But I mean, MLS or was the MLS just not prepared? Were they not prepared for the scope of this tournament? Even going back, when they knew when it was announced to be in America. When the television rights were done, years and years ago, but 3 World Cups ago, but was the MLS just not prepared? Was their marketing team just not prepared to grab this tournament and say, hey, we have to do something with this tournament? Whether or not they thought it was going to be a dud, which is obviously unbelievable, or they just didn't think it was a good spot. I'm not sure, but maybe I think a lot of this could come down on the MLS marketing team.
It really
that's my thought.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And on the surface, it seems like a real missed opportunity for the MLS. Maybe FIFA didn't let them, which is certainly, I guess, a possibility. But again, Fox,
big possibility.
Fox has skin in the MLS game, so you would think they would have said, "Hey, we want to." We want to. It's still the sport. It's not like Fox was asking to promote Friday Night Baseball, for example,
right?
On FIFA games, but
like, so when we go into Portugal, or if the games ever reach England, are we going to see EPL commercials during the tournament? Probably not.
Probably.
You don't really need to, but probably not. So maybe it is a FIFA thing. Maybe there is a reason why we didn't see MLS promos. But in general, we went to some watch parties. I didn't see MLS marketing paraphernalia out in watch parties. You could have had them anywhere. Were they around the city? Like New York City, I didn't see any. So I don't know. I hope they, like Friday, the first game back for Nashville, stadium was packed, sold out. It's absolutely sold out. So are some of those new fans? Hopefully.
We'll see. We'll see. I think the long-term effect is still a ways off as to whether this generation, this golden generation, not to poke fun at the USMNT soccer team, but how this iteration of the World Cup will have ripple effects down the road as far as how soccer is viewed in the United States. Now, Colin, I want to ask you now. You and I are both. You see, you cut the cord. I still have the cord, but I also subscribe to 5,000 different things. I probably should, because I probably pay more money in my subscriptions than I pay for my ridiculous cable bill. But so viewing these days, TV viewing and show watching is different now than it was when you and I grew up. You're a little bit younger than me, but still, we used to watch shows on a weekly basis when they came out on network TV. And now, they get dropped either in batches or all at once, or even weekly as it comes out. But I was surprised, Big Buddy, when you texted me earlier this week and said you just finished one of the greatest shows in TV history. And then you told me what that show was. I was stunned by both the show that it was and the fact that it wasn't like a recent show. At least I don't think it was. Illuminate the people, illuminate the nation on what you think is, quote unquote, one of the greatest shows in TV history.
If you haven't gone out, or if you haven't watched The Bear, go see The Bear. Go watch The Bear. Go stream all 5 seasons. That's on Hulu. It's an FX show. It's on Hulu. Maybe it hit a little harder to me because in a past life I was in the hospitality industry, so I've worked in restaurants. It's about a chef, and he goes back to his hometown Chicago beef little restaurant in Chicago. So it takes place in a Chicago beef, I guess, sandwich shop. And it goes on, and the evolution of the show goes on from there. The cinematography, the visuals, just the pacing of the show, where you have close-ups of people in the kitchen, and the music of the soundtrack is just phenomenal. It just star-studded. Jeremy Allen White, I believe his name is. Jeremy Allen White is the lead. He plays Carmen Berzado. Eben Moss, I'm going to get this so wrong. I want to say Bacharach. But Eben Moss, Bacharach. And these guys, it's an Emmy-winning show. I mean, so it's that good.
But one of the greatest shows in TV history. I mean, we're talking Sopranos, Mad Men, Breaking Bad, I Love Lucy, The Honeymooners. I know I'm leaving a ton of Archie, the Archie Bunker Show. Like, we're talking on that stratosphere of shows.
We're talking stratosphere of like Elf. That's how good this show is. I mean, Elf goes down in history as one of the greatest shows in the world as well. But no, it's. I mean, in my opinion,
that's a movie. Chucklehead.
Yeah, no, Elf. ALF. Alien Life Form. The little brown furry guy. Okay. Yeah. But the little brown furry guy.
The Will Ferrell movie. Elf. I mean, it was good.
No, was it Gordon Shumway from Melmac?
Okay. Yes. No, you're right.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the last season, I pretty much cried throughout the whole season, but not like a sad cry, just like a God, this is so good.
Like a manly tears of admiration.
Yes.
And I know what the characters are going through kind of cry.
Kind of.
Did it get dusty also, in your viewing area?
Did it get dusty?
Yeah, you had tears. You were like.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was more like they were just kind of like. Welling.
You got misty.
Was a well.
Yeah.
Yes, I got misty. But I guess, go from the first season to the final season, which just wrapped up, and again, it was a batch, so you could watch them all at once.
I haven't seen a single show.
Just the character development was.
I haven't seen a single episode of The Bear.
Oh, we got to get Trella on because she'll have a good take on this.
I'm sure Trella will, and we have the capability of in this 21st century, we have the capability of 3-way video. So we will book pop culture expert Heather Trella, here on an upcoming edition of the show, because I want to get Trella's take on The Bear. Not that I don't trust your take on The Bear.
Yeah,
but
her take will be much more eloquent and sophisticated and intelligent.
Well,
I'm just telling you, it's a great show, and I cried. and the pacing was good, and the visuals, and
I cried. It was just not tears of joy or tears of sadness, but I cried tears of jardiniere.
Exactly. But it's just the character development was too. I haven't seen a lot of well, no, I guess like you said, I've only seen a couple episodes of The Sopranos. Never. That's like I'm the same guy who has never seen a full episode of Seinfeld, I want to say.
Really?
Except for the finale. Yeah, but after, into syndication, pretty sure I've seen whole episodes, but
like you didn't watch it when it was on the air.
I did not. No.
Oh, wow.
No, I was at that point in my life, spent a lot of time on a skateboard, doing a lot of illegal things, I guess.
Well, don't tell us everything, because I'm pretty sure some of the statute of limitations are still in effect because you've told me privately of some of these escapades.
Yeah,
I'm not sure we want to get the law involved in this. So
no, those were like illegal things, like skateboarding in public areas where you were supposed to.
Okay,
right. Nothing. I didn't live an episode of like The Wire or anything like that. Speaking of great shows.
Okay, all right. No Orange is the New Black for
no.
Another great show. You've seen that, right?
I have not.
Wow.
No,
we gotta get Trella on so she can upbraid you for your lack of TV breadth.
I can tell you all about the newest Star Wars shows and Marvel shows.
I mean, I can't. So that's
cool.
All right, we got to wrap it up for this show. Next week, Colin and I might talk a little college football. We might talk a little pro football. We might talk a little bit more soccer. Lord only knows what we're going to talk about next week, but we will talk about it next week. Until then, for Colin Warner, I'm David Wasson. Thanks to the Floor Meisters. They're just keeping it real in Southwest Florida, taking care of us. Until next time, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, do all that you can do here for us here on Mike Check Sports.